Not bad.
So Loki episode 3 is finally here, Lamentus, and we're halfway through the series, and it dropped a major bombshell, a major reveal happened at the end of this episode. It's something we probably all speculated, and we're going to talk about it right now. But if you're new to the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button, leave a like or comment. Let us know down below. So far, what's your favorite moment in Loki? What's your favorite moment? Something you've seen, something you heard, something in this episode or the past 2 episodes? So far in the series, what's your favorite moment? Now, let's just get on to the review. Like always, I go over the whole episode. I'll go from start, middle, and finish. We'll go over the complete episode and go over all of it. And as for that major reveal, we're going to go over that as well. There are a couple things in this episode I want to go over. There's a couple reveals and a couple things, and maybe a couple things you might have missed. We're going to go over the whole episode. So it starts off showing us how this version of Loki, Sylvine, uses her powers, how she gets in your mind to try to extract information. It puts us in a restaurant where she's, having drinks with that guard as if they're best friends, having margaritas, just talking about life, talking about, hey, if you ever had a brain freeze, it kind of makes you stuck in that memory, whatever. Just trying to get her, open to asking a question, and she prompts it like, I'm going to ask you a question. Let's see if you can answer it. And she's trying to really get this question out there. How many guards are guarding the timekeepers?
Okay, ask.
How many people are guarding the timekeepers?
Sorry, what?
She asks it a few times. She doesn't really get the answer. She finally does get the answer. Well, it shows, she doesn't really see how many guards there are, but it looks like she does get the answer. And that's where we go next. So it kind of shows how she uses her power, how she can get into your mind and kind of like try to get information out of you. And she'll explain this to our Loki later. So it goes right from that restaurant scene. Now she's going to the TVA. She's right there. She's trying to use her powers in the TVA on the guard. She goes to touch one of them, realizes none of her magic, none of that power works. Just like our Loki realized it in episode 1, she's now realizing that. So this is probably her first time at the TVA. Just putting a pin in that. She had no idea her power wouldn't work, so she had to resort to hand-to-hand combat. Luckily, she's really good at hand-to-hand combat. She's ambushed by a bunch of guards. They have that baton that makes you get erased or whatever through time. She defeats most of them, gets to the end. Loki's there. They have it down. The TVA show up. They're just going to erase both Lokis. It doesn't really matter. It's easy. They're both right there. So our Loki obviously has some kind of backup strategy where he gets them out of there, but he puts them stranded. They're on this planet. Name of the episode, Lamentus. Now they're in an apocalypse zone, just one he randomly picked. Like he said earlier, he didn't have time to read the brochure on this place. He just picked one. Now, in this apocalypse situation, they're in some kind of alien planet on an alien world, and the moon above their head is crashing down on them. Any moment, everyone's going to die. There's one escape vessel where everyone's trying to board it. You need a ticket. It's really hard to get into. The premise of this episode is, Loki and Loki have to work together, or Loki and Sylvine. That's what she calls herself. They have to work together. They get into this escape vessel and off the planet to avoid this, apocalyptic situation. So Loki pretty much has to find himself or herself in this episode by working together. They start off, at each other's throats, trying to fight, but our Loki calms the situation down, a lot more mature. Why don't we have a truce? Let's talk this out. Let's figure this out. He has the way to get back. He has it looks like some kind of device, like a phone, but he has the way to get back, but it needs power. That's the only problem. There's a power supply that'll be on the escape vessel. It's actually the only way to survive to get off the planet, so they need to go to that escape vessel and use the power to get off the planet and to get through time and space to wherever, either one, convinces the other to go. And we're going to try to find out what her motive is, and we already know what our Loki's motive is. He wants to get an audience with the timekeepers and then try to take it over and become the king of time and space. As we see our Lokis getting to know each other, they're at a restaurant, talking, conversing, one-on-one. our Loki mentions he likes to go both ways. He's really hedonistic. He was drinking, singing, throws his drink on the ground. I want another one, just like a true Viking would, just like a true Asgardian. That's exactly how it was. It was a good moment. Now the other Loki, Sylvine, she's watching this. She doesn't really understand, so it doesn't seem like she grew up on Asgard. She probably grew up around Asgard, near the Asgardians, familiar with them, but she doesn't have those Asgardian tendencies, because just like we saw with the Valkyries, they would be up there singing, throwing drinks on the ground, and that's just the way it's going to be. Just like we saw Loki doing it, that's how it would be. She's not doing that. We'll put a pin in that. So now we know another thing about her without her really telling us. She's not really an Asgard. No, she's not really, from Asgard like that. She's probably been on the outskirts most of her life, and she alludes to that. As Loki talks about how he was with his mother, that's who taught him his magic. So we know now our Loki's learned his magic and had a really good connection with his mother, and it was a really good story. Talked about the fireworks. So as our Lokis are traveling, they've gotten on the ship. They disguised, Loki disguised himself as a guard. Sylvine was the prisoner. Got into the guy's mind. They've, been radioed in earlier, whatever. They've gotten on the ship. They use their powers. They can do whatever. They're Lokis. And here's the big reveal. As they're talking, she mentions how she uses her power. She goes into the mind of people and just, has that conversation with them and tries to figure them out. And she mentioned, here it is, when she got into the mind of the guard for the timekeeper, she was trying to find out how many guards the timekeepers have, where they blah 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 blah. The guards have been around for about 100 or so years, so she had to go back further than 100 years, and then they're just regular people from Earth, just normal people who have been variants. So in their own way, they've been a variant for some reason or another, and now they work for the TVA, and that's the big reveal. So everyone from the TVA, they think the timekeepers created them to preserve time, and that's just the way it is. The timekeepers created the TVA and all of the employees, and that's the way it is. But realistically, all the employees had past lives, did something or another, became a variant. Their mind has been erased. They now work for the TVA, and it's only been around for about 100 years or so. When Loki hears this, he's shocked. It just blows his mind, the way he reacts. It lets us know this is going to be a big thing. He says,
I was told that everyone who works at the TVA was created by the timekeepers.
That's ridiculous. They're all variants, just like us.
They don't know that.
nobody at the TVA knows about this. We don't know what this is going to mean for Loki. We don't know what's going to happen next. We're halfway through the series. This is just episode 3. I'm going to do reviews for episode 4, 5, and 6. I'll even do some bonus episodes just to go over things about Loki. I really do appreciate it. You guys stuck here to the end of the video. Just like this video, our episode ends just about right there. They're going to their ship. It doesn't really make it, and it just ends. We don't know what's going to happen. But I'll see you at the next video.